Humanity has always been fascinated with the unknown. That fascination leads to the struggle of trying to explain those mysteries. Maybe that's why I've always been intrigued by ghost stories, urban legends, and those phenomena that can't truly be explained. Today, we're going to explore some mysterious tales from the Arctic Circle. The SS Bachimo was a cargo steamer that was used to transport fur in the early 1900s. On October 1, 1931, the ship was at the end of a trading run when it became trapped in pack ice. Pack ice occurs when floating sea ice pieces freeze together into a solid body. The thickness of pack ice can range from a few inches to around 13 feet. Because the ship was trapped, the crew of the Bachimo left the ship to travel across the ice to the nearby town of Barrow to take shelter. During the 2 days that the crew was there, the Bachimo broke free from the pack ice. Soon after that, the ship became trapped more thoroughly again. The Hudson's Bay Company, who owned the ship, sent an aircraft to retrieve 22 of the crew. 15 of the crew stayed behind in a shelter near the stuck ship. They had intended to wait out the winter, so they could free the ship when the ice started to melt. However, on November 24th, a blizzard caused the crew to lose sight of the Bachimo. The crew thought the ship had broken free and sunk during the storm. That wasn't the end of the Bachimo, though. A few days later, the crew was told an Inuk seal hunter had seen the ship about 45 miles away from their position. Deciding that the ship wouldn't last the winter, the crew finally abandoned the Bachimo after transporting all the cargo out by air. While the story so far is pretty typical of the fate of many ships that traverse the Arctic Ocean, the next part is where the mystery comes in. Most ships that are abandoned would succumb to the ocean sooner rather than later. The Bachimo would go on to haunt the Arctic Ocean for many years. In January 1932, the year after the ship had been abandoned, a man with his dog sled team saw the ship floating near the shore. In March 1933, a group of Inuit people actually boarded the ship, only to be stuck on board for 10 days when a freak storm blew through. Later that year, the ship was spotted off the coast of Wainwright, Alaska. Locals were able to board the ship and salvage some things that had been left behind. Every time someone managed to find the Bachimo and potentially rescue the ship, something forced them to abandon the ship once more. One of the last recorded sighting of the Bachimo occurred in 1969, 38 years after the ship was originally abandoned. Since then, there have been efforts to locate the ship, whether it's still afloat or sunk to the ocean floor. To this day, no one is quite sure what happened to the ghost ship of the Arctic. This story begins with a man named Esau, who moved to Labrador to trap furs. Unfortunately, trapping didn't pay as well as he hoped. Looking to make his fortune another way, he turned to creating moonshine. This led the locals to giving him the nickname of Smoker after the drink he created. As his notoriety grew, so did his reputation with law enforcement. The Mounties eventually caught Smoker and threw him in jail. After Smoker got out, he knew he had to find a new way to avoid the Mounties. Smoker stole 8 white huskies, fashioned a suit out of pure white skins, and painted his sled and keg white. Camouflaged against the snow-covered land, he delivered his drink while evading the Mounties. After he died, his ghost was said to be cursed to haunt Labrador. People have seen the team of white dogs driven on by a driver dressed all in white furs that doesn't leave any tracks. In April 1947, the Vancouver airport received a routine radio call from Trans-Canada Flight 3. The plane was banking over the Pacific Ocean for its final approach. But the plane, with its 15 passengers and crew aboard, never emerged from the clouds. A search the next morning revealed no signs of violence. No wreckage, no smoke, no witnesses who could report hearing the telltale sound of a plane slamming into the ground. It was only in 1994 that the truth was discovered. A man hiking in the North Shore Mountains found the wreckage, leading to the mystery being solved close to 50 years after the crash. In May 2004, a mysterious man disembarking Vancouver's number 98 bus offered an eerie remark to the driver. "How's your day going?" the man said. When the driver replied that it was going well, the man replied, "It won't be for long." About 6 miles later, the bus driver was overcome by nausea and threw up. With other passengers reporting similar symptoms, the driver pulled over and radioed for help. Paramedics arrived on scene, and they grew sick as well. The whole incident carried the trademarks of a new and terrifying form of chemical terror attack. But Vancouver's chief medical health officer concluded that the true cause of the incident was even weirder. There were no chemicals and no terrorists. Simply, a cryptic comment had plunged an entire group of strangers into a state of sudden mass hysteria.